This is Politics Unscripted. Well, political parties are pulling out all the stops to gain favor of the electorate with just a few short weeks to go till the local government elections. The Good Party revealing its candidates and key constituencies today, while the EFF was on the campaign trail in Tshwane. Politics reporter Mbali Thethani joins me in studio now to tell us a bit about what her travels have revealed to her. Mbali, very good afternoon to you. Thank you for the time. Peter de Villiers, I think that's what many people are going to be talking about going into this evening. From a rugby coach to being a mayoral candidate for the Good Party that is led by Patricia de Lille. How did this even come about?
Goli, I think when we're in that press briefing today, because people are wearing masks, right? So you can't really tell who's who here. And when I heard the name Peter de Villiers, former Springbok coach, it took us by surprise. Most of us were really shocked. But when we spoke to Patricia de Lille a bit later on and just asked the background in terms of why is it that they've selected, Peter de Villiers as the mayoral candidate for Drakenstein in the Western Cape, she basically said that, well, Peter has been working with the Good Party for the past 2 years. And from our understanding is that he actually does a lot of work in terms of the youth, in terms of youth development, drug campaigns, especially in the Western Cape. So this is where, this all came about. And basically, Peter de Villiers at the same time also saying that, of course, this new role that he will be taking up is going to take a lot of people by a surprise. But Koli, let's take a listen to what he had to say when we did an interview with him just outside or after that press briefing took place.
Well, Mbali, I'm sad to tell you, but we don't have that bite ready yet. However, I think many people are going to be asking, what does that mean for his career now, his sporting career as coach of rugby? And my understanding is that it had actually taken him to Zim. Okay, before you respond, it would seem that we have that bite ready. So let's have a listen to Peter de Villiers.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think my playground is now just only be bigger, where I had only 30 guys to work with, and now I have a whole community. And I'm very, very excited to try to bring hope to the hopeless people out there. We don't always get the chance to do it. I do have now, and I hope that we can fulfill this dream to change the people's lives.
Peter de Villiers, who would have thought? But I tell you, the 2016 local elections, many people were also taken by surprise at that time when Danny Jordan was revealed or unveiled as the ANC's mayoral candidate for Nelson Mandela Bay. But Danny Jordan has his roots in the struggle. He was an ANC activist for many, many years ago. So that was an easy explanation, so to speak, for the ANC. Anyway, let's put Peter de Villiers and the Good Party aside. The EFF has also been on the campaign trail. How are they doing this? And I'm asking in general terms, how are political parties conducting these campaigns, keeping in mind that we still have COVID-19 regulations that they have to adhere to strictly?
I mean, Koli, this weekend has been quite a busy weekend for most of the political parties. We've seen the likes of the EFF. They've been campaigning from as early as, of course, on Friday, where we saw Julius Malema putting up posters in Alexandra. And we know that the likes of Julius Malema have said that, of course, if you do not postpone these elections, you cannot stop us from campaigning. And this is exactly what he has done. He is out in full force. Yesterday he was in the city of Johannesburg. Today he is in Pretoria, and he's continuing with his campaign trail.
How big are the crowds?
They are quite big. From what I've seen, from the stuff that we've been gathering over the weekend, he is being able to draw in a number of people. We know that they have their manifesto launch, which is taking place on the 26th of September, and he says that they're expecting as big as 20,000 people to come out in their numbers to come and show support. Unlike yesterday, I went to the DA. They had their mayoral candidate who was giving her vision to the residents of the city of Johannesburg, and they tried to contain the numbers. You had just a few people, maybe at least around 100 people who were there to come and show support for the DA. But when you look at the two parties, the EFF, they're going out of their way to show that, well, there are communities out there who are showing support for the EFF.
Very, very briefly, Mbali, the big crowds that you say follow the EFF campaigns, does that speak to the EFF saying at one point, because I remember this distinctly, that they are not going to adhere to COVID rules because this is in a way engineered so that the ANC can be given almost a head start and therefore squeezing out smaller parties from campaigning? Does that sort of marry what you're seeing on the ground?
They've said this a number of times, saying that they will not be stopped because of COVID-19 when it comes to them campaigning. It is their right to campaign, and that's why in the beginning they were in support of these elections being postponed, and they've said that, well, while we plan these elections, you need to save lives. But this time around, because of these elections, they are saying that, well, we only know how to campaign traditionally, and this is whether it is door-to-door campaigns and whether it is calling big rallies. I know that this year there will not be those big rallies in stadiums, but they're taking advantage, whether it is through small community meetings, and the numbers are quite big, Goli. So it is a tricky time for most political parties. Yeah. But one thing I need to note, that the ruling party, they are nowhere to be seen this weekend. I must say, even when you're driving throughout the city of Johannesburg, Goli, you see various posters from the likes of the DA, Action SA, EFF now. There's not even a single political poster party from the ANC itself. And this past weekend as well, we have not seen any senior leaders campaigning in the ANC.
I wonder why that is. Well, we are going to find out, I'm sure, soon enough. That's our politics reporter, Mbali Thethani.